Hello and welcome to Middle Eastern Thursday. So today, guys, I have a very special video for you because I will be sharing with you 27 fragrances out of my collection that I think are perfect for the spring season. Now, these fragrances have been with me for a while, the majority of them. Just, I would say, a couple of them have been added to my collection recently. I didn't want to pick fragrances that I've discussed recently here on the channel, but there was a couple of them, guys, that I just couldn't help it because I am quite obsessed with them. But for the most part, the fragrances that I'm going to share with you today, I've had in my collection for quite a while and are fragrances that I look forward to pulling and using for the spring season. Now, there's a couple of things that I do want you to know about what we're going to do today. So first of all, I try to not pull fragrances that are gourmands, like true gourmands, right? I'm trying to steer away from gourmands for a minute and give you all a break while giving myself a break too, because we have been deep into the gourmand world. But I love a good gourmand, but these fragrances are not gourmand fragrances. They may have, a couple of them may have a couple of gourmand notes, but all in all, they are not gourmand fragrances. I will also be sharing them in no particular order. I have not ranked them. I don't even think that I could rank them because I really do enjoy all of these fragrances. As I go along, I am going to give you very little detail about them because all of these fragrances have been hauled and reviewed and talked about quite a bit here on the channel. So if you're looking for additional detail on any of them, just do a search on the channel page and the videos where I've discussed them will definitely pop up. I will also be linking them all in the description box as long as I can find them at a retailer. And the last thing that I want you to know is that I will not be focusing on what they were inspired by. Not all of these fragrances were inspired by another, and that is not the topic of today's video. Today, I just want to share with you and let you know what are the spring fragrances that I recommend out of my collection. These are not all of the fragrances that I have in my collection that are suitable for the spring season. There are some fragrances that would be perfect for the spring and summer season, but today I am bringing you the ones that are specifically just for spring. So let's go ahead and get started. But before we jump right in, if this is your first time here, I'm Arahi, and I'm your fragrance concierge because I'm totally committed to creating the best fragrance experience for you. I upload videos multiple times a week, and on this channel, we love to talk about all types of fragrances. So if that sounds like the type of content that you're interested in and like a good plan, then please consider subscribing, give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget, leave a comment. Let's go, fam. So the first fragrance that I want to share with you is one that I haven't had in my collection for a very long time. I've had it maybe a little bit over 2 months, but I do have a dedicated review here on the channel for it. And this one is from Lattafa and it's Bade'e Oud, and this one is Noble Blush. Now, Noble Blush is a fragrance that some may consider a gourmand, but I don't think that this is a gourmand truly. It does have some notes that are gourmandish, but at the end, at the dry down, what you're going to get is more like of a rose milk scent. This fragrance is definitely sweet. It smells so good. It's sweet. It has a good bit of vanilla, and it does have some woodiness. So those notes play very well with a tad of a lactonic quality in the fragrance. And of course, the rose, which is not necessarily very dominant, but definitely a very present note. The next fragrance that I highly recommend, guys, and it is just such a beauty for the spring season. It is just perfect. And this one is from Zimaya, and this is Hawwa Pink. Now, Hawwa Pink is a fragrance that is reminiscent of Delina La Rose. It has a very centric rose note, and that rose is very fresh and like crisp. It's a very freshly bloomed kind of rose. But in here, you're also going to find some vanilla and fruitiness. And the fruitiness is coming from the notes of lychee and pear. But all in all, guys, this is just perfection for the spring season. It is one that I'm so looking forward to pulling, and it layers beautifully with other fragrances. So the next fragrance that I want to share with you is from Paris Corner. And this one is one that I'm pretty sure that I discussed and reviewed not too long ago here on the channel. But this one has been sitting in my collection for, I would say, about 3 months, if not a little bit more, because I received it right at the launch of the fragrance. And this one is Khayal. Now, Khayal is a fragrance that is musk based, but very, very fruity. And that fruitiness, guys, is like zesty also, perfect for the spring season if you are into fruity fragrances that have that touch of zestiness, because this is definitely a musk-based fragrance that is quite zesty because it has some grapefruit, bergamot, and some orange. Oh, but it smells so, so good. So the next fragrance that I'm going to share with you is one that is a cherry fragrance. Now you may wonder, okay, Arahi, so we are talking about spring fragrances and you're going to bring us a cherry fragrance. Well, I am bringing you a cherry fragrance, but this one is a little bit different because it's not like a dense cherry fragrance. It's not very airy either, but it is just like perfect for spring. Is this one that I would use during the summer? Probably not, because I do have other Middle Eastern fragrances that are cherry centric, that are also airy, and that are perfect for the summer. But I just think that Loyalty 25 from Khadlaj is just beautiful and perfect for spring. This is a fragrance, guys, that has a cherry. Oh, this cherry is so, so beautifully done, guys. But as I said, while it's not a completely airy fragrance, it's also not dense. And it also has some woodiness and it has some fruitiness. And the note that I pick up the most from like the fruitiness is definitely, of course, in addition to the cherry, like bergamot. But this one is just perfection for spring. So the next fragrance that I want to share with you guys is one that if you've been with me for a while, you saw me haul it. And of course, then I reviewed it afterwards. But when I first sniffed it, oh, it was an immediate love. And I'm speaking about Zimaya's Rabab Gems. Now, this is a fragrance, guys, that is all about the purple florals. Like the bottle will let you know. But here, the florals that I really pick up on are the hyacinth and the iris. This is a fragrance that is fruity, is sweet, it's powdery. It has not a lot of vanilla, but it definitely has a very present vanilla and some woodiness. But when I tell you that this scent is just beautifully perfect for the spring season. So this next one will not come as a surprise because for a while, guys, I could do nothing but just talk about Rasasi's Elite Lady. Now, this is a fragrance, guys, that it is just elegance in a bottle. And it is perfect for like a special occasion during the spring season. This is not a fragrance that I would use for just anything. I mean, you can use whatever you want, whenever you want, but specifically for me, I think that this is perfect for a special occasion. Doesn't have to be formal, but just something special. There are some fruity notes with black currant, peach, and pineapple. And then there's some florals with lilacs and rose. And it definitely has vanilla, but the vanilla is not very present. And then, of course, it has some woodiness that adds depth. But all in all, this is just such a beautifully done fragrance that I think is perfection for spring. So this next fragrance is one that I just hauled on the channel recently. But guys, and I'm sure that you'll remember my reaction, I have just been obsessed with this fragrance because this is just absolutely beautiful. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it because you've heard me talk about it already on multiple videos, and this fragrance just launched not too long ago. But this is from Maison Asrar, and this is Date Night. Oh, Date Night is just absolutely beautiful, guys. In this fragrance, you find some orange blossom, mango, lily of the valley, and then to top it all off, you have a note of marshmallow, and that marshmallow is the one that, to my nose, brings the sweetness to the fragrance, and it's like a fluffy marshmallow. But this fragrance, while it has some gourmand notes, to me is not a full-on gourmand, but it is just such a beautiful fragrance. And even though it's called Date Night, for me, it's not just about a date night type of fragrance. I think that this is perfect for any occasion because I just love to pull it and just sniff it. All right, guys. So this next fragrance is one that literally, I just had a video on it this past week. I did like a haul video of the most recent launches. that I think are the hottest fragrances right now from the most recent launches. And I included, of course, Paris Corner's Farah because, guys, the obsession is real with this fragrance. I'm sorry. And this one performed for me from the get-go. Now, let me tell you, this is a fragrance that's supposed to be inspired by Initio's Side Effect. And I didn't want to say it in that video, but I think I like this one even more. And I do love Side Effect. It's an incredible fragrance, but this one has like a sweetness. Ah, so while Side Effect to me is more of a unisex fragrance, this one leans to the feminine side, and you are going to get a bit of Side Effect in this one. You definitely are. But this is just on its own, on a standalone basis. This is a fragrance that is just phenomenal. I absolutely love it and highly recommend it. Please let us know if you've tried Farah and your thoughts. The next fragrance that I have for you is a fragrance, guys, that is truly unisex. This is just a beauty, and I think it is perfection for spring. And I'm speaking about Khair. Now, this is the original because, I think I have like 4 other bottles that are flankers of Khair, but to me, I have to tell you, this one is my favorite from that line. In this one, you are going to find some oud, and you are going to find some leather, but they have been done so smooth and beautifully together. This is a very smooth and balanced fragrance that I truly think is perfect for spring. And by the way, will get you a ton of compliments. So this next fragrance is from Matin, and this is Miral. Now, this is a fragrance, guys, that if you watched me haul it, you know exactly how much I love this fragrance, and I can't wait for those cooler, not so cool, but cool spring days where I can pull this fragrance and use it. This fragrance has a beautifully done bouquet of white florals and fruitiness. But what really gets me about this fragrance is that it has a plum note, which has been done exquisitely. Now, this next fragrance is one that goes back to almost the beginning of my Middle Eastern fragrances journey. And this one is from Paris Corner, and this is Eternal Meadows. Now, Eternal Meadows is one of the fragrance out of a collection of 3. There's one called Eternal Coffee, which I think is perfect for fall and winter. There's one called Eternal Musk, which is the summer fragrance that you really want to pick up if you're into musk fragrances. But this one is perfection for the spring season. This is a fragrance that has some lavender, some patchouli, and vanilla. And it has other notes. But when I tell you guys, this one has been sitting in my collection for quite a while, at least 6 months. I'm pretty sure it's more than that because it's been quite a while since I picked it up. But I tell you that this is just perfection for the spring season. It is powdery. It is not sweet, but it has a tad of sweetness. And it is definitely one that has like a green quality to it. So the next fragrance that I want to share with you is from Pendora Scents. And this one is called Oud Holidays. Now, guys, from the first moment I sniffed this fragrance, it was a deep love. Now, this is one that I would say that you do need to appreciate the note of oud in a fragrance, but I don't think that you necessarily have to be like a real fan of an oud fragrance in order to fall in love with this one. The oud here is like a level 3, which means that you are going to pick up on the oud, but the oud has been done here so smoothly, guys. This is truly what the name of the fragrance is because it's like the perfect fragrance that has oud, but at that, you could probably get away with taking it like on holiday, during the summer. But for me, this is just perfect for spring. You could get away with using it, in my opinion, any season of the year, but to me, this is perfection for spring. This fragrance has some tangerine, some tobacco, and it has some solar notes. I am telling you, it is just such a different take on oud, and I'm absolutely here for it. Let us know if you've tried Oud Holidays. The next fragrance that I want to share with you is also one that I haven't featured on the channel for a while, but that I have loved since day one. And you know, I just moved it up so that I can see it and pull it now that spring is approaching. And I'm speaking about Afnan's 9 a.m. Pour Femme. Now, this is a fragrance, guys, that is sweet, it's fresh, it has a good bit of vanilla, and I can clearly pick up on the note of raspberry and blackcurrant in it. It is also very ambery, and it is a musk-based fragrance. But I have to tell you that I really don't pick up on the musk much in this fragrance. It's all about the fruitiness. It's just a beautiful, beautiful fragrance, but it is more fruity than anything else. So you have to love a good fruity fragrance. The next fragrance that I have for you is from Swiss Arabian and from one of my favorite collections. And this one is Shaghaf Oud Ahmar. Now this fragrance, guys, oh, this is just perfection for spring. This is just wow. So I have to tell you that I don't even pick up much oud here. This is like a level 1 oud. It is very, very smooth and almost like negligible. What I do pick up here though are those fruity notes, and I do clearly pick up on the iris and the freesia. There's some peach here and some melon, and you have some tonka, and you have a good bit of vanilla. I tell you, this one is just perfection. If you are looking for a good floral fruity fragrance for spring, this is definitely it. And what I also love about it is that while it is a floral fruity fragrance, it does have quite a bit of character, like all of the fragrances in this collection from Swiss Arabian. So this is another fragrance that when I first hauled, not just this one fragrance, but the entire collection, oh, I am sure you will recall how excited and how happy and how obsessed I became for a while. But I have to tell you that the one that I am loving and looking forward to pulling for spring is Armaf Eter Perfume Oasis. Now this fragrance, guys, this is so, so, so addictive. This fragrance is fruity and sweet and powdery, not very powdery, but it is powdery and ambery. It does have some oud, but the oud is like a level 2, which means that you are going to pick up on the oud, but the oud has been done so smoothly. You are going to pick up on it though. It's not that it's not really there. No, it's there, but it is very, very smooth. But here you find a ton of notes. Let me share with you some of them because this one is like truly an oasis of fruits. So here you have some peach, some pear, pineapple, plum, violet leaves, freesia, vanilla, sandalwood. Just an incredibly beautiful fragrance for the spring season. I know that many Femme members did pick up this fragrance and others from this collection. Please let us know your thoughts if you tried or have Perfume Oasis or any of the others in the collection, because most of them are suitable for the spring, but I think that of all of them, this is perfection. So this next fragrance, guys, I'm not going to spend much time on, and if you've been with me for a while, you'll understand as soon as I tell you which one I'm speaking about. This one is Flor Oud. Now, guys, you guys know that this is like my fragrance, right? Like I am just, to this day, I am absolutely in love with this fragrance. It is just perfection to me. This is truly a white florals focused fragrance. But guys, it is just so beautiful. It is very ambery. It is sweet. It is woody. And it has those white florals that have been done so smoothly. This is elegance in a bottle. This is like the perfect fragrance. You could make it your signature scent if you wanted to, but this is the perfect fragrance for when you just want to smell elegantly beautiful and alluring and you're going to a special event. It doesn't matter if it's a more dressier occasion, no, because you can dress this fragrance down and dress it up. It is just absolute perfection. And for spring, oh, definitely, definitely one that you want to get your nose on. So this next one is not going to come as a surprise because whenever I have a chance to include it in a lineup of fragrances, it always seems to appear because this is just an incredible fragrance, guys. So this is from Haramain and this is L'Adventure Iris. Of course, the bottle gives it away because it is all about the iris. You have to be a true iris, violet, purple florals kind of lover in order to really appreciate and love this fragrance. It is very aromatic and powdery, and it has some notes of cardamom, clarisage, iris, lavender, of course, the white florals, and then vanilla and amber. But this fragrance is really all about the iris, and it is such an exquisitely done fragrance. It's honestly one of my favorite iris fragrances in my entire collection, not just in Middle Eastern, in my entire collection. Let us know if you own L'Adventure Iris, because I know that many other fam members did pick it up. What are your thoughts? How has it matured for you or macerated? Because this one has been sitting in my collection, guys, for such a long time, and I am just more and more in love with it every day. This next fragrance is for my Rose Oud fragrances lovers, and this one is from Paris Corner Emir, and it's Lueur de Spore Arena, and I can never pronounce that correctly, so I apologize, but let me tell you, this is truly a rose and oud fragrance, and you may be thinking, okay, Arahi, yet another rose oud fragrance. No, but this one is not like any other rose oud fragrance that I have in my collection. First of all, believe it or not, to my nose, the rose heavily overpowers, right, the oud. The oud is not, while it's dominant, it's like it's a step behind the rose, because the rose is the star of this fragrance. But it is definitely a rose oud fragrance, and the oud here is like a level 2, where it is present but very, very smooth. I'm telling you, it is so, so smooth. It is just a beautiful fragrance, and this is one that I will tell you, you do need to love a rose fragrance in order to enjoy this one, because the rose really takes center stage. At that, the rose here is not like freshly bloomed. It almost borders like on a green type of rose. You know, when there's a rose that hasn't really started to bloom, it hasn't started to open. Like, this is what I get in this fragrance. And it does have a touch of a green quality to it. So the next fragrance that I have for you is not going to come as a surprise, because I'm speaking about Bayn Al Asrar from Paris Corner. And of course, guys, we've discussed this fragrance here on the channel so many times. This is supposed to be inspired, and truly is, by guidance, by the original guidance. And this one, guys, is exactly guidance. It's just that some of the, I wouldn't say quirks, but some of the sharpness or intensity of certain notes that you find in guidance have been smoothed out in this one, but not too much, because you're still going to get to some extent, the sharpness that you get from a couple of notes in guidance. But this is just a beautiful, beautiful fragrance for the spring season, and one of the highest compliment getters that I have in my collection. So this next fragrance is one that has not been in my collection for a very long time, but I wanted to include it because while this is a fragrance that is definitely perfect for the summer also, I think personally that it is true perfection for the spring season. It does have, well, let me tell you what it is first. So this is Lattafa Ana Abiyedh Coral. I have a dedicated review here on the channel, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this one. But this basically has some watermelon and coconut. It's supposed to be inspired by Room 1015's Wave Child. I'm not going to get into all that today because I have a dedicated review where I also compare it to that fragrance. But all in all, guys, this is a fragrance that is beautiful and perfect for the spring season. It is fruity, and it has some beautifully done florals, and it performs very, very well. So the next fragrance that I have for you guys is one that for a period of about maybe 6 months, I couldn't do a video related to Middle Eastern fragrances without including this one and another one that's part of this collection. But today, I just want to talk about Emir Paris Corner Vibrant, and this one is Vetiver Delight. Guys, this fragrance is just absolutely incredible. This is my second bottle. I know that you guys already know that, because if you've been with me for a while, you've seen me talk about this fragrance so much here on the channel, so I'm not going to take a lot of time on it. This is truly, to me, like spring in a bottle for sure. There's some lemon, some blackcurrant in here. Oh, it is just so perfect, guys. This is truly like spring in a bottle. And this is one that's going to make you feel so beautiful and bright and enliven you. It's just an exquisitely done fragrance that will definitely put a pep in your step for the spring season. Let us know if you've tried Vibrant Vetiver Delight, because I know that many, many fam members picked up this fragrance. So this next fragrance is one that I haven't had a chance to really share with you here on the channel, because it is a fragrance that is part of a collection of 4 fragrances, and I have them all. But for some reason, I've had it I've had it with me for quite some time, but for some reason, I never like got to make a video on it. I don't know what that's all about. But today I want to share it with you because it is perfection for the spring season, and I'm sure you'll understand why in a minute. So this one is from Maison Alhambra, and this one is Greece. Now, Greece is supposed to be inspired by Dior's Gris, like Gris Dior. And I have to tell you that this is truly like 90% spot on. And I'm not going to get into all that, as I said before, but I did want you to know about this fragrance, because if you have the opportunity to find it and pick it up, it is just perfection for the spring season. This fragrance, for me, the dominant notes are rose, patchouli, and bergamot. And it is one of those fragrances that performs so beautifully. It's also very versatile because you can use it for any occasion, day or night. So this next fragrance is one that I featured in a video that I filmed dedicated to the fragrance house Sapple. And this one is Bound for Women. Guys, this fragrance is so incredible. Oh my goodness. Let us know if you've ever tried Bound for Women, because this is just exquisitely done. In this fragrance, you find some passion fruit, some passion flower, and you find some orange blossom. There's some vanilla. It is just, when I tell you, it has some fruitiness and some white florals, but it has been balanced and blended in such an exquisite way. It is true perfection for the spring season. So this next fragrance is not going to come as a surprise, because you guys know how much I love Ahmed Al-Maghribi. He could do anything, and I'm here for it. But this next fragrance I featured here on the channel so many times, and I'm speaking about Rose Noir. Now, Rose Noir is a fragrance that, well, it does have the florals, obviously. It has like a C note. It has a ton of vanilla. There's an aquatic feel and quality to the fragrance, but at that, it is, when I tell you this is freshness perfection for spring. It also is powdery, but the powderiness is one that brings like freshness. It's not stifling in any way. I tell you, it is just one of those fragrances that has been done so exquisitely. Let us know if you have Rose Noir in your collection, because I know many Femme members picked it up. Now, if you are into clean fragrances, or fragrances that have that very like serene, clean, ethereal quality to them, then this next one is definitely going to be one that you may want to get your nose on if you haven't already. And this one is from Emir Paris Corner, and this one is Rich Santal. Now, Rich Santal is supposed to be inspired by Santal 33 from Le Labo, and I'm not going to get into all that, but because I've already reviewed this and talked about it several times here on the channel. But this is truly, guys, like, to me, it's almost 98% Santal 33 truly. So if you've been looking for a more affordable option, then this is your opportunity, because this is just exquisite, and it is true perfection for the spring season. This is one that you can't go wrong with. You could also make it your signature scent. So this next fragrance is one that, guys, from the first moment I sniffed it, it was a love. And I am so looking forward to the spring season to now pull it and use it. And this one is from Swiss Arabian, and this is Jasmine and Honey. Now, Jasmine and Honey, as the name says it, guys, is all about the white florals and the note of honey. But the honey here has been done so beautifully, guys. It is smooth. There's no animalic quality to this fragrance whatsoever. And I also love that there's the note of patchouli in this fragrance, but the patchouli is so smooth. So if you're not a patchouli fan or a patchouli lover, you may still want to get your nose on this fragrance, because I tell you, the blend is just absolutely exquisite. And this fragrance is true perfection for the spring season, any occasion, day or night. Now, the last fragrance that I have for you today is one that, from the get-go, I've been just a fan of and in love. And this one is from Maison Asrar, and it's Heritage. Now, Heritage, guys, this is such perfection for the spring season. This is a fragrance that You know, if there's a bride and it's during the spring season, this is a fragrance that I definitely recommend that you get your nose on and see how you feel about it for your special day, because this fragrance is just beautiful. But it is not necessarily just a feminine fragrance. It is truly, to me, unisex. It may lean a tad to the feminine side, but I can see anybody using this fragrance. It is just glorious. This fragrance is a mix of like fruity and floral notes, but the dominant note here to me is truly the coconut. It is sweet. It opens up citrusy fresh, but it's not like a freshy fragrance whatsoever. It has quite a bit of character and depth, and the coconut is creamy. But when I tell you, just absolutely beautiful and perfect for the spring season. Let us know if you tried Heritage. All right, guys, so we've reached the end of today's video, and I just wanted to come on here and share with you these 27 fragrances because we are approaching the spring season, and I wanted to, refresh. And it was time for me to pull all of my spring fragrances from the Middle Eastern side of the house. And I really enjoyed doing that because I am looking forward to using so many of these fragrances and layering with them and playing with them now that the spring season is coming in. And I just want to know, have you tried any of these fragrances? How do you feel about them? Which are your favorite spring fragrances? I always love to hear about new fragrances that I may or may not have in my collection. Again, these are not the only spring fragrances within the Middle Eastern side of the house that I have in my collection, but these 27 are definitely ones that as I walked around looking and pulling for spring, these were the ones that definitely inspired me and made me feel happy and brought a smile to my face. So I knew that these were fragrances that I wanted to share with you. Anyway, guys, as always, thank you so much for hanging with me today, and I will see you all in the next video.